6-5. Today we're going to be talking about changing metric units. The good thing is that this lesson is very similar to last lesson, except this time we're changing from customary units back and forth with customary and metric units. So basically we're doing the same process where we set up our ratio and multiply across and cancel out our units, but we're going to be doing it with some different information. So go ahead, and I want you to go ahead and copy down this little cheat sheet so that you can use it on your quizzes and your tests. So first of all, let's talk about what the metric system is. So the metric system basically is a decimal system of measurements. So and they come with certain prefixes like kilo, centi, and milli. So like kilogram, centimeter, or millimeter, things like that. So those are the prefix. Now the prefix kilo means thousands. The prefix centi means hundredths, so we're talking about in the decimal places. And then milli is thousandths, or in the decimal places as well. So basically, anytime you're talking about kilo, like kilogram or kilometer or anything like that, it's going to be something that's bigger. The kilo is going to be bigger than the meter or bigger than the liter. Now centi and milli, both of those are smaller. So anytime that you're going to say a kilometer instead of just a meter, then that means it's going to be smaller. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy down this chart so that we can use the information to solve some problems. Alright, let's go ahead and look at example number 1. We're going to go ahead and change 25.4 or 25 4/10 grams to kilograms. Okay, so the first thing we need to know is to look at our information cheat sheet and then go ahead and pull out how many grams are in a kilogram or vice versa. So basically, I put the information, there's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So we're going to go ahead and use this ratio to change our units. So if I had 25.4 grams, I'm going to multiply by the ratio 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams. Now, the way that you can check to make sure that you set up your equation correctly so that you're going to be dividing instead of multiplying or things like that is just to check to see if you can cancel out your units and you're left with the unit that they want you to solve for. So in this case, our grams cancel out and we're going to be left with kilograms. So then you go ahead and multiply across. So we do 25.4 times 1, and you're going to get 25.4, and then we're going to have 1,000 in the denominator, and then this is kilograms. So basically we're going to go ahead and divide 25.4 by 1,000. As soon as you divide 25.4 by 1,000, that moves your decimal place 3 places to the left, and you're going to be left with 0.0254. And that is how many kilograms we're left with. Alright, let's go ahead and look at example number 2. We have 158 millimeters is equal to blank meters. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my cheat sheet and figure out, well, how many millimeters are in 1 meter or vice versa. So basically I'm going to go ahead and write 158 millimeters, and I found out that there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. So I know that I have to have my 1,000 millimeters in the denominator and my 1 meter in the numerator. Now, why did I have to do that? It's because I want meters to be my final units and my millimeters to cancel out. So now let's go ahead, and I know that I set it up correctly since I could cancel. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. So 158 over 1,000. And so that's going to go ahead and move your decimal 3 places to the left, so that means that we're going to have 0.158, and that's how many meters we are left with. Okay, example number 3. We have 7.44 or 7 44 cups is equal to how many milliliters. So I need to look at my cheat sheet and figure out how many cups are in milliliters or how many milliliters are in a cup, and go ahead and set up our ratio. So we have 7.44 cups. We're going to multiply it by the ratio 236.59 milliliters over 1 cup. Now, how did I know to put my ratio in this order? It's because to cancel out my cups and to be left over with the milliliters. So I know I set it up right, so now I just need to go ahead and multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and do 7.44 times 236.5. Okay? As soon as I multiply 7.44 times 236.59, we are going to go ahead and get 1,760, and I just rounded it to 0.2. So and I went ahead and I wrote that in my spot. So that's how many milliliters we're left with. All right, let's go ahead and change 22 and 9/100 pounds into kilograms. So I first have to figure out, well, how many pounds are in a kilogram or how many kilograms are in a pound, and write that on the side. And I'm going to go ahead and write the correct ratio. So if I have 22.09 pounds, and we're going to multiply by the ratio, let's see, we have 1 pound in my denominator and 0.4536 kilograms. So my pounds are going to cancel out, and I'm just going to go ahead and multiply across. As soon as you multiply across, you're going to get 10.02 or 10 2/100, and that is how many kilograms we're left with. All right, let's go ahead and look at example number 5. It says 35 and 85/100 of a liter equals how many gallons? So we have to go ahead and look at our cheat sheet and figure out how many liters are in a gallon or how many gallons are in a liter. And now we're going to go ahead and make our ratio. So first of all, they've given us 35.85 liters. And we're going to go ahead and multiply by the ratio. So let's go ahead and look at our information, and we're going to put 3.79 liters and then 1 gallon in the numerator. Our liters are going to cancel out, and we're left with gallons, which is what we're solving for. So we know that we've set it up correctly. So now let's just go ahead and multiply across. So we're going to have 35.85 in the numerator, because that's times 1, and then we have our denominator of 3.79, and we're left with gallons. Alright, so now you just need to go ahead and divide. As soon as you divide, you're going to go ahead and get about 9.5. I went ahead and rounded to the tenths place. Now be very careful. If you're entering it into your calculator, or if you're handwriting it, you're going to write it as 35.85 divided by 3.79. So be very careful the order which you put it in, because it does matter. So top divided by bottom. Alright, let's go ahead and look at our word problem. It says Chuck runs at a speed of 3 meters per second. About how many feet per second does Chuck run? So basically, we need to first realize the fact that we are going from meters to feet. So those are our 2 units we're going back and forth between. Like we went from liters to gallons, and we went from grams to kilograms. So we're going back and forth between meters and feet. So we need to figure out how many feet are in a meter or how many meters are in a feet. And so in this, I went ahead and I looked at my cheat sheet, and I have 0.3 meters in 1 foot. So 3/10 of a meter is equal to 1 foot. So we're going to go ahead and write our 3 meters, because that's what we're given, and we're going to change it to feet. So we're going to multiply by the ratio 0.3 meters and then 1 foot in the numerator. So how do I know that I set it up correctly? My units will cancel out, and I'll be left with feet, which is what we're solving for. So then you just go ahead and multiply across. You're going to be left with 3 over 0.3 or 3/10, and it's going to be feet. And then we just need to go ahead and divide. 3 divided by 0.3 or 3/10, you're going to be left with 10. So that means that he ran 10 feet per second. Okay? So if you have any questions, just go ahead and look back on this lesson one more time. You can look in your book at more examples and really pull on what you've learned from the last lesson and apply it to here, because we're not learning something completely new. We're just kind of tweaking it a little bit to do a different examples, okay? So pull on that example, the things that you've learned on the last lesson. Now let's go ahead and do some on your own questions, and use your cheat sheet if you need to go ahead and convert, all right? Good luck.
All right, you have 5 problems to solve for me. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can go ahead and look at your conversion chart or your cheat sheet and go ahead and figure out how to go from meters to centimeters, from milligrams to grams, from yards to meters, from kilograms to pounds. And the last one, it says about how many feet does a team of athletes run in a 1600 meter relay. So go ahead and do your best on this. We'll see what you get tomorrow.